Alright you guys, today I'm going to show you guys how I did a mid-ball fade with some style on top. I'm glad this client actually let me do this. I didn't think he was going to let me record, but kudos to him. Props to my guy. So I'm just start out brushing it. You know, you always want to pin up the hair and brush it. So right now I'm going with the lever open, and I'm just going to go ahead all the way around the side of the head to the other side. As you guys can tell, I went up about an inch with the lever open, and in the back I went up maybe about an inch and a half, maybe even 2, just because there was more area to work with in the back of the head. Since his hair is kind of thinning, not thinning, but he has thinner hair in spots, as you can tell. Toward the front, I actually kept the lever open a little bit smaller, so maybe about 3/4 of an inch. So right now I'm actually going in with the 1 guard, and with that also I went up about an inch. Once again, in the back of the head I went up a little bit higher, just because there's more room to work with. At this point, I went ahead and put on the 2 guard, and I'm just going to go up about another full inch. I think at this point I went ahead and switched to a 3 guard, just so that I can knock down the top of the head toward the parietal ridge. Before I get into styling and doing anything like that, I just want to make sure the hair on the side of the head is debulked as much as possible. There's a point in this video you guys are going to see that I knocked down his cowlick area, either with the clippers or some shears. Actually, both, being that he actually prefers that his cowlick area is a lot lower than the top of his head. I actually prefer to keep it a little bit longer, just because the cowlick area usually is a thinner area for the head, and it can come out not looking as faded or blended right, and actually a little more bald look. So at this point I went ahead with the half guard, and with the half guard I'm just gonna go ahead and knock out the lower guideline. probably just soften it up a bit, and then as you can see, my strategy is a little bit different. I kind of just pretty much bounce around the head just to get a feel for each spot, and then I'm just playing with the lever, just trying to knock out that lower line. Sometimes I don't get the line all the way out, so I just soften it up and then come back to it later, give my eyes a rest. But eventually in certain spots, you're going to go ahead and be able to knock out that line. At this point, my magic clips actually died, so I had to switch to my Wall Seniors Anniversary Edition. And I actually prefer to fade with the magic clips, being that I think they're actually made to be superior faders over the Wall Seniors. The Wall Seniors are really good debulkers, and they're a lot heavier. But yes, I definitely prefer to use the magic clips over the Wall Seniors when it comes down to fading. But debulking, definitely the Wall Seniors will take that one. So as you can tell, I'm just going through with different guards, knocking down bulk areas, just trying to get that blend right. Like I said, my strategy is a little bit unorthodox. I'm a newer barber still, so just getting everything down has been a challenge for me, but I feel like I'm doing very well and that I have no choice but to learn and grow. At this point, I'm just going around the head doing some detailed work, just trying to make sure all the bulk areas are gone and all the lines are out. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and take the clips out of his head, maybe spray a little bit of water on, and just prep the hair for styling. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and put a part in the right side of his head. He likes the part to come out kind of toward the front of his head. And then I'm also going to put a part in the left side of his head later on in the video. And that part is going to be kind of standard. He just likes the right side to come out a little bit further for, I guess, an extra look. At this point, I'm just going to go ahead and use my shears and knock down the bulk of the hair in the front, just so that the part stands out a little bit more. At this point, I'm just going to start with a small lineup, just so that I can get a look and see how the lineup's gonna be, how it's gonna end up on his head. I'm lining up the vertical bars. This is a big part. Try not to push them back. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and start with the part on the left side of the head. As you guys can see, this one's not going to go up toward the front too far. It's just going to kind of come straight toward the forehead on the side of the parietal ridge. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and start styling his hair. Well, not styling, but I'm going to go ahead and start cutting his hair, trimming off dead ends, taking off about an inch off the top, maybe even about a ½ inch actually. He likes to keep the front long and the back a little bit shorter. And when you guys are doing this, don't be afraid to kind of go over it multiple times, and just take different levels across the head to make sure everything's at the same length. Try to give them a mirror and ask them if the length is how they like it, and then go back and take a little bit more off the top if you need to. At this point, I'm just running my texture shears through his head just to give it a little more texture and thin out his hair. He actually has pretty thick hair when it gets longer, so thinning it out kind of just gives him that fluffy look when it comes down to styling. At this point, I'm styling his hair. I'm just running my brush through with a blow dryer. He's not a real big styler, so he went ahead and let me go ahead and try it on his hair this time. So I actually thank him for that. Another shout out to my guy. At this point, I'm lining up the other vertical bar on the left side of his head. He has a kind of like a small wound on the side of his head. So just be kind of cautious of your clients and in different sensitive areas on their head. At this point, I'm just lining up the C cup, trying to get it kind of sharp and looking nice. Well, with this client, he has a lot of light areas in his head, even up toward his line. So sometimes it's kind of hard to get that nice crispy line without using a razor. In this video, I didn't use a razor, but I still think that I came out with some pretty decent lines. And as you guys are going to see, I'm going to go over the line multiple times. I'm going to knock it down, some of the bulk on the beard, and then I'm going to go back and do the line again. I just like to make sure that I get as crispy as possible when I'm doing the lineups. I'm not a stickler too much on them, just being that not everybody likes a crispy lineup, and that he has some light areas, and so usually that's when enhancers would come in to kind of help out, to bring out that nice crispy line. But in this video, I didn't use any enhancers or a razor. I just went ahead and just used my trimmers and tried to line up the dark to light areas as much as possible, and even debulk some of the beard just so that the lines will come out a little bit crispier. As a barber, I'm not afraid to get kind of close to my clients. I'm not afraid to use like my fingers and my hands to help maneuver the head and just kind of balance out my hands. That's just kind of the way I work, and I kind of prefer it as opposed to just trying to eyeball and get a rough estimate and just hope that everything looks or feels good. I don't shy away from getting close and using my hands. A word of advice, a little tip that I got, is that one of my older mentors told me, don't be afraid to touch the client. Don't be afraid to get close. Being that this is a profession where you have to do the best job you can, and they're gonna go out looking the way that you let them leave. So explain to them that this is just a part of your job and that you're just trying to do the best that you can to help them look good and feel good. Like I said, I'm just going to debulk a little bit, maybe go back over the lines a little bit just to clean everything up, make it look a little more cleaner. comb the beard, brush the beard. Always comb and brush the beard just so that all the hairs can lay down a lot better so that you can get crispier lines. After you comb and brush, then you're going to see that the hair pops out a little bit more and it lays over some of the longer hairs. And so that's when you're able to go back and just trim up those longer hairs that lay over, just as if you were doing the hairline toward the top of his head. So this is the end result, you guys. I think I did pretty decent. Like I said, I'm a brand new barber. I'm just trying to get the feel for it. I really like doing this, and I just love making people feel confident in who they are and just boosting their self-esteem. So leave a comment. Let me know how you guys liked it. Let me know if this was helpful for you guys, and if I should just keep on going.
All right, YouTube, I hope you guys liked that video. Go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe. Do not forget, do it right now. Yeah, just do it right now. I'm gonna give you guys some time, hold on. Okay, thank you. Now, I'll be back with another vlog. I went ahead and did it specifically for you guys, just to show you guys that I do cut. I'm a new barber, so, I'm always getting better every time. But like I said, I cut, straight hair, coarse hair, wavers. I cut everybody. So yeah, go ahead, hit that like button and subscribe. And then I'll be back at you guys as soon as possible. Ragged Up Real.